that can be used to meet the energy standards in the 2013 or 2012 International Residential Code.
So you don't have to do that pressurization test?
You wouldn't have to do that on every single home, no.
But I mean, are those, what kind of...
Excuse me, just from David. I'm sorry, I just wanted to double check on that. Coming into the process late with your local modifications, I wanted to make sure I was correct. You could use the prescriptive method. I think it's more likely that people will use the HERS rating method.
But when you say HERS, you mean the blower door?
Yes, yes.
But when you say prescriptive, what you mean, like the 90% efficient furnaces? And in other words, if you have enough of the appliances that are efficient, you don't have to have a airtight structure? Is that what the alternative is? I guess I don't understand what you mean.
The prescriptive method would require certain minimum efficiencies in furnaces. It would require certain minimum standards to limit infiltration and exfiltration, the movement of air in and out of the house. It would require certain grades of windows, certain efficiencies for windows. There are mandatory items in the prescriptive method that are outlined in Chapter 11 of the Residential Code.
So what is this document that we received just the things that we're taking exception to? Is that...
Yes, that is correct. The document is based on the Johnson County Code officials have met over a period of a year reviewing the latest versions, coming up with the various things that would recommended to remove from the code to meet local conditions.
That's correct.
So the difference between the just to get this straight in my mind, it sounds like the prescriptive, I guess, process is more kind of a checklist of things that have to be in the home versus the HERS method is more of a physical test of the structure.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
The HERS method literally tests performance.
Okay.
It tests how the house as constructed performs. The prescriptive method says if you do this, 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 and this, the house will meet an approvable energy standard.
More of on a line item level.
That's an interesting way to think of it, yes.
Why would we want that? I mean, I guess I'm just trying to understand why would a builder not want to do the HERS testing and get a rating? I mean, what would prevent them? I guess what's the downside of it?
I don't know that there is a downside. One of the things that the International Residential Code does that the legacy codes that became the International Family of Codes in 2000, it's largely a prescriptive code. It's unique because it has not just construction provisions, but it has plumbing, mechanical, and electrical provisions also, fuel gas provisions. It's designed to allow somebody to take this book, follow the instructions, build a home that meets the code's requirements without having to go to an architect or an engineer. So it's described as a prescriptive code. And I think that fundamentally the code development process would not embrace eliminating the prescriptive standards from the residential code. That's kind of the foundation of the book. I think most builders, as I said earlier, I think most builders are going to go with the HERS rating. When you look at jurisdictions that are employing these techniques, I think that tends to be the standard for modern homes.
Is that like public? So when I go buy a house, is that noted on there as to what is that typical?
I guess it's not now. I mean, not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, as a consumer, would I know this, or am I assuming because it's in the code that it's not?
If they follow the prescriptive method, yes, you rely on your local building department to guarantee that code compliance has been met in a building when that final inspection approval is signed. Communities that employ HERS rating as a method of identifying homes will provide that documentation available to the new homeowner.
Okay.
Ideally, it occurs hand in hand with community education, so that consumers learn basic things like a HERS rating of 65 is more desirable than a HERS rating of 115. Understanding that there's cost associated sometimes with developing a more energy efficient home. There's maintenance that's required in order to maintain energy efficiency. Those are all things I think that are an important component that we try to, through the contractor licensing process, provide community education for contractors, building inspectors, and hopefully soon for consumers to help them better understand what these things mean.
The thing I don't understand, though, is maybe if you could define what HERS stands for.
It stands for the Home Energy Rating System. It's a nationally recognized rating system based on empirical testing that's conducted on individual structures to provide them with a quantifiable grading system.
But what other tests go into that other than the blower door test?
I will be completely honest with you. I'm a building inspector. I'm not a home energy performance auditor. Interesting to note, home energy performance auditors are certified by national organizations just like building inspectors are. Different things. I know there's a blower door test. There is a test that is designed to determine how airtight the ducts are, how much leakage there is in the duct system. There are guidelines associated with sizing equipment, sizing the actual duct system that goes through the house. You can take an efficient furnace by attaching it to a duct system that's improperly designed, cause the efficiency of that furnace to drop, and the effectiveness of the furnace in terms of heating and cooling the home to an acceptable level. That's all part of the HERS rating. There's a rating to determine whether penetrations in the internal wood framework have been sealed, whether penetrations of the interior sheetrock have been sealed. There's standards associated with, you get credit for doing different things like providing substructure in the building that allows moisture vapor to move outward from the house, but it prevents moisture from moving into the house. The energy rater comes out actually at several different times during the house construction to conduct there's the foundation insulation, important part of what the energy performance evaluator verifies. Excuse me.
Can you tell me what reason, or just an example of a situation where in a new home we would offer an exception for them not being able to meet this?
Let's say that a home early in relatively early in the implementation of the new code. Let's say a home is constructed and it comes out with a HERS rating of 87. What are the alternatives? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You can go through the home and mitigate some problems, but some of the mitigation methods could be extremely expensive. Some could be impossible to achieve. One of the things you do in a tightly sealed house is visualize electrical wiring running through walls. You drill holes through the top of the framed wall and stick the wire down into the wall. You then have to seal that point of penetration where the wire has gone down into the wall.